He told me to do posture and I'm like,
No, this is the one time that we should definitely slouch. Just spit my gum out. It's okay, I can just swallow it.
Wait, really?
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you are.
What's up, guys? Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
I'm here with Kesley Leroy.
Hello.
And I am so excited to be doing this video with her. Today we're going to talk about something that I know you want to know about, and it's how to talk to your crush.
It's for the
Always trying to figure out, like, how do I talk to that person that I like? But today we have answers for you. If you're new to my channel, if you're new to my channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button, and also please go over to Kelsey's channel because we did an awesome video on her channel that you're gonna love.
We did When the Music Changes You, Halloween edition. So go check that out.
That video will be linked below. Subscribe to Kesley because she's amazing and I love her videos.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, now let's get on to the video. Crushes. Oh, crushes. Boys, girls, whatever you are, whatever you like, I don't know. Okay, so the first tip I think is that one of the most important things is to be confident when you are talking to your crush and just in life in general. People always say you can't like love somebody until you love yourself, right? I think that's so true. Like, you obviously don't want to be like cocky and arrogant, but like having a really solid understanding of who you are, what you're doing, what you want in life is very attractive to somebody else, don't you think?
Yes, I mean, like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to talk to my crush. No, it's okay, just text them or go up to them, be confident, go talk, say hey, ask what they're doing.
I don't know.
Have a conversation.
Totally, amen. It's a lot easier said than done to like just go talk to them, but like having that confidence, even if you have to fake it sometimes, will always be worth it, I think.
Yes.
Tip number 2, if you're nervous about talking to your crush, I think one of the best things you can possibly do is find some common ground with them. Find something you have in common with them, you know? I
Yes.
feel like relationships and conversations with my crush always go so much better when we find things that we both like and that we both enjoy, because then like we can talk for hours and hours and it's so much fun.
Yes. Ask them a lot of questions. Not too much, because you don't want to like overflow them with a lot of questions. You can ask them like, oh, what's your favorite color? What kind of food do you like? What do you like to do? Just stuff like that. Ask what sport they do. Ask them some questions and see what you guys have in common.
It shows that you're interested in another person. Have you ever been on like a date or talking to somebody where all they did was talk about themselves? And you're just like, this is fun, but not fun.
Yeah, you're just like, can I talk? Can I say things about me?
Yeah, exactly. This next tip we want to talk about is like how to keep a conversation going. I can't speak. Ask open-ended questions, which means like, don't say like, do you like Halloween? But like, hey, what's your favorite holiday?
Yeah.
You know?
Because I mean, like, if you ask, do you like Halloween? It's like, yes, no, like, just that, like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
You're trying to get to know this person, connect with them on a deeper level. So ask open-ended questions, find common ground. But I also like what you said too, which is like, don't ask too many questions because you don't want to come across as like a stalker.
You kind of just want to like chill and just ask them simple questions. And then if they have questions for you, then answer them too. Also, don't say like, oh, cool, or yeah, sweet. Like,
I call texts like that conversation killers.
Yeah.
You should avoid them like the plague, unless you really do want to kill the conversation, which is fine, do that. But sometimes when you're texting a boy and the conversation gets to that point where you're like, is it over? Is it not over? You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like, do I say something back? Do I let it die? And that's where the conversation killers come in, because you can kill the conversation. But what I usually do when it comes to that point is I'll say something that allows the guy to then continue the conversation if he wants, or like further the conversation. Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing that you can do so many things. Yeah. And that's neutral enough that if he's done talking, he doesn't have to say anything else. But if he wants to keep talking to me, I've left it open there that he could then further the conversation and ask me something else or say something.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Don't be the conversation killer, but allow opportunities for the conversation to end if it's time to. You don't have to be talking 24/7.
Just like, don't be afraid to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to like end this conversation, but I have to go. I have a lot of business to do. So
I have business to do.
Sorry, I have
so much business to do.
sorry, I have a lot of things to do.
I like business personally. And along the lines of what Kesley just said, I think brings us to the next tip, which is don't be afraid to make yourself seem busy. There's nothing that's more unattractive than knowing someone's like a puppy dog just like waiting around for you. Like, did you text me? Oh my gosh, did you text me? Oh my gosh, is he gonna text me? Like, oh my gosh, I have no plans ever and all I wanna do is hang out with you all the time, every day, forever and always.
If they text and you see it and you're like, oh, they texted. They text. Is that right? Texted?
They text. Yeah, texted.
Okay, well, anyways. Okay, so they texted. Okay, sorry, let me get to
I tripped over on this one.
Sorry. If they text and you saw it and you're like, oh my gosh, they texted me. and you're like, okay, I don't want to be a stalker and be like, oh my gosh, I have to respond to them right away. I want to like open it and just like, bam, I responded. Like I kind of just want to wait for a couple minutes and act like I'm not a stalker. I'm not a stalker. Sometimes
all I do is check my phone and wait for you to text me. That's
yeah,
all I do.
yeah, I just wait. Come on, text me, like, you know.
Nothing.
If they do text you when you're on your phone, wait a couple of minutes because you don't want to be like, oh, you texted right time, perfect.
There's nothing attractive about seeming desperate or seeming like you have nothing going on. And that's not saying that you need to fake or be someone that you're not. They are lucky to fit into your life and they're lucky to be a part of your life and not the other way around.
Yes,
right?
Perfect, yes.
Independence and confidence is a really attractive attribute. You know what I mean? To show that like you don't necessarily need
Yes.
whatever, like you're good on your own. And like obviously when you get to a point with somebody, you do need them in your life to an extent, but like the fact that you are independent, you do your own things, you have your own life, you got your own stuff going, that's super attractive. Like it just really is attractive.
Yeah.
It's attractive to me as a female when I see a guy like just doing his own thing and working and making stuff happen in his life, and then I'm like, I want to be a part of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully on the flip side, it's the same. If a guy sees me, that I'm out there doing the things, working hard, then he's like, that girl's cool, I want some of that. You know what I mean? Make it clear that you've got your own stuff going. Snap, 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 okay. Going along those lines, one of my best tips is to match their level of investment. If a guy is sending you like one sentence text, you don't send like 3 pages worth of text. And if he's like, hey, you seem cool, like let's hang out sometime, you shouldn't be like, oh my gosh, let's get married. I think one of the most important things with like matching their level of investment is that nobody wants to feel like their crush is more interested in them than they are.
Yes.
Right?
You kind of just want them to like you like them.
If the guy is just showing like a little bit of interest and like minimal effort, then you meet him back with minimal interest and minimal effort, because the guy needs to feel like he still needs to work for you a little bit. Meet them where they're at, match their level of interest, and I think your dating experiences and your crush talking experiences will always go so much better.
Another tip is sometimes you want to be the one texting first.
I think it's important to text first occasionally because it validates the guy and it lets him know, hey, I am interested in you, like I do want to talk to you and I enjoy you, but also you can't always text them first because then they don't have to work for you, right? They didn't earn anything with you if you're the one that's always doing the work.
Let them text first sometimes. Like if they want to talk, then they'll text you. Don't like always be like, oh, they don't want to talk to me, so I'm just gonna text them.
If you've had like a day before where you've just spent a ton of time together, where you've just texted all day long, the next day, chill out, let him come to you. And that's like super hard to do, but I think it's one of the best ways to like make sure that you're not coming on too strong.
So it's almost like play hard to get. You don't want to play too hard to get. If you want them to like you, then you have to kind of tell them, but you want to start playing hard to get so they're like, oh wait, I really want to talk to you though. If you play too hard to get and they don't know you're interested in them, then it's kind of like, well, okay, then I don't want to like this person anymore because like they don't even like me. But
this is a video about talking to your crush, but in this specific example, I'm talking about men. Men are naturally like people that work and that fight and that have to achieve things. It's like almost in their like genetic code, you know? Like men are the breadwinners and men are strong, fight or whatever. And again, I am all about women power and feminism, keep that in mind. But I'm just saying like stereotypically, traditionally, genetically, men have it written in their DNA to be like fighters and hunters. In a way, you do have to give the guy the chase. And I know that's so annoying. There's so many times where I'm like, why? Like, why can't we just do this? Why do I have to freaking make you chase me? But you have to.
So annoying.
You have to. And this is what I like to call validate and then pull back. It makes you nervous for you to approach a guy, right? It's just as nerve-wracking for them to approach you. And if they don't know that they're gonna be successful or that they're gonna win with that approach, they may not do it. So it's important to give them a little bit of like validation to know like, hey, I like you, I'm interested in you. If you were to try to do X or if you were to approach me, it would go well. So you validate and then you pull away because remember, they need to come after you. So you let them know, hey, I like you, I'm interested, but you gotta come get me, and then you run.
Yeah.
And that seems to work really well, because there have been times when I've played too hard to get, where they don't even know that I'm interested in them, and then they lose interest. And then there's times when I like haven't really pulled away, and I've just let them know how much I care about them or whatever, and that doesn't work well either, so.
So you kind of just want to be in the middle.
I think eventually when you get to that place in a relationship, you don't have to like play those games anymore. In the beginning stages, validate, pull away, make him work for you a little bit. Like let him know you're there and you care, but he's still gotta do some stuff to come get you. He's gotta take you on a date. He needs to make you feel special. He needs to spend time with you.
He needs to ask you to go on a date.
Yeah!
You can be like, oh, you want to hang out tonight? Yeah. You can do that sometimes. If he really likes you and really wants to go on a date, he has to come ask you and not have you ask him.
And it's okay a little bit, like every now and then, to be the one that takes the initiative, but if the guy hasn't taken the initiative first, I don't take initiative first. If he hasn't asked me on a date, we both know that we're interested in each other, I won't be the one to ask him on a date first because I just did his work for him. He's gotta work a little bit. And that's another good thing too. It's easy to fall in this cycle of just like hanging out. It's so important to respect yourself and respect your time and respect the relationship. And relationships need to flourish in sometimes more formal settings, which is a date. If the guy you're seeing is like only ever like, hey, let's just hang out, that's not really great because you really need to be developing that time outside of their apartment or like outside of watching a movie, or you know what I mean? You really need to be developing that one-on-one closeness through other experiences, doing other things together.
Go out to dinner. Just do something other than the movies, because I feel like every date like always comes to the movies. Like
go mini golfing, go laser tagging, go play at an arcade. I don't know.
Just go do something where you can like connect together and then like talk a lot and get to know each other better.
Create experiences together and create memories together. I think that's one of the best ways to create like a solid foundation with your crush, is like make things happen that you can reflect on and be like, oh yeah, remember that one time we did this? And that creates much more of a bond than like, hey, remember that one time we watched a movie?
Yeah, so fun.
Not that there's anything wrong with movie watching and cuddling, I'm all about that too, but if your relationship is just based on that, it's a little bit hard to like really find that depth and that connection. Take me on a freaking date! I also want to say, we're talking a lot about like how to appeal to your crush, but I do want to reiterate that it's super important to be yourself. Super important to be genuine and to be honest. Nobody wants to feel like they're interested in someone who's fake or like a recreation of who they actually are. I went on a date a couple days ago. Partway through the date, he goes, I'm really nervous. Like, you make me really nervous. I appreciated the honesty. It was also like nice that he was just like genuine. Like, he wasn't trying to like put on this like macho manly front of like, I'm so awesome and you should like me. As we're giving all these tips and advice and ways to appeal to your crush, remember that like it's so important that those things don't change who you are and that you are still you at the core, because that's who they're gonna fall for. If they really get to know you and they find out you're not actually this person you've been pretending to be, like that's not gonna go well for either of you. The last tip I have is use social media to your advantage, which is weird. It's kind of crazy like what an asset Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter can be, because it allows you to have like insights into your crush that you wouldn't have any other way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's that. Okay. Your crush can get to know you in a totally different way by watching you on social media than they could just by talking to you, which is cool. As long as you make sure that like the social media version of yourself and the real version of yourself are like the same person. There's nothing worse than like them getting to know you and then following you on Instagram and realizing that you're like somebody totally different online, or vice versa. But definitely use it to your advantage as a cute way to connect with your crush. You can snap them, you can DM them, you can like respond to their story. It's a good way to like keep the dialogue going without having to like do a full texting conversation or a full-on in-person meeting.
This whole thing is just practically be yourself. Just be like who you are. If they don't like the way you are, then that's their bad. Someone will like it out there.
Someone will like it out there. Yay! We did it! Okay, well, if you found this video helpful, I would love it if you left a comment below. Let us know what was the most valuable tip, or what was the thing that helped you the most. Tell us if you have any other tips or any other good ideas or ways for talking to your crush. Let's start a conversation in the comments because we all want to learn too.
Yes.
I can always learn how to talk to my crush better. Please head on over to Kesley's channel.
Oh, thanks.
Go check out the video we did on her channel and like comment on it and go watch all of her other videos because she's hilarious. So fun.
It's so fun. Make sure you guys subscribe to her. She's amazing. She's so sweet.
Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos. I make advice videos, entertainment videos.
They're really good advice too. So,
Thanks, girl. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and I'll be back with another awesome video. Love you, sis. Bye.